Hello, hello. What's up, Mikey? Good morning. You always say good morning, but it's like pitch black outside right here. So I had a decent in today's New York session. What's crazy is that you can see how New York was from 9:30 right here. What's crazy was that all my gains were from longs, and look what happened. That's what happened. And I was longing everywhere. I think what 25,000 was probably one. I was just scalping the entire day. I had longer holds down here. I think like 4 or 5 accounts, and I scalped like 40 or 50 points, like 4 or 5 times here. Oh, it's midnight here. I guess that is. I guess that is good morning. And then right at MOC, I said that I would look for shorts. So I said that 250 to 25080 was where I wanted to short. The pop was pretty weak, but I caught a short right at 47, and I just held it to close. I think it closed for like 40 points. I thought it was gonna go a little bit lower, but I mean 40 points is 40 points. I'm not gonna complain about that. Right now for the overnight, it's an uptrend, as we can see. These wicks are kind of worrying right here. These wicks. I'm looking for a dip down. Let's see. My best entries is around 25020, 25020, 25,000. I wasn't awake for, well, I wasn't here for the market to open, but 25,000 is a decent area to long off of. Just for that, whole thousands number for NQ. So you can see it open right here, dipped to 2500, what, like 25001? 25,075. 25,000.75, and now we're all the way up here. So about plus 70 points. So I'm pretty bullish. Looking for a dip to buy. Let's look at the overall market. What's the best funding account to use? I think the best one right now is Lucid. I have to go buy more accounts with them. I'm still gonna go into these days with a bull mindset. Let's see how NFP goes tomorrow. I don't know how much it'll affect the market. I think right now the only thing that affects the market is the Iran news. I think we had some good news. Let me see. We have non-farm payrolls at 8:30. I might trade it on, like, do I want to blow up one of these accounts? I don't really want to. These accounts all have a decent buffer on them. I don't know if I want to risk one of these accounts. I might just sit out on NFP. Wait for the big move to go somewhere. So some trade deal news. I mean, tariffs we're kind of over tariffs. All the most recent tariff news, it's barely moved the market. So I don't think tariffs are super important anymore. I think even recently, like 2 or 3 weeks ago, Trump said there was an increase, like a 10% increase in all tariffs, and nothing happened. Maybe there was a dip, but I honestly don't even remember. It wasn't anything substantial. When was this? This was 4:37. Iran's calling asking to make a deal. Iran's calling a bit late. Pretty bullish right now. I have no areas to short off of. If we reach 69,000, I would consider shorting there. Maybe 6984, 6986. Or no, 6896, 6900 and 6904. 6983, 69890 is my first entry for shorts. So whatever the equivalent for that is for the NASDAQ. NASDAQ maybe 25250, 25250, 25300. Anywhere up there and I'll be shorting. NASDAQ, let's see. For an overnight scalp, I'll wait for the dip. If NASDAQ dips down to 24860-ish. Oh, no, do I want that? I mean, maybe. For a longer trade, if we dip down to 860 or 800 down to the previous day low, which is 770, and then I'll start racking up some entries, buying all the way down to 24519 probably. I don't think NFP is going to move the market, like give us the tailwind for like a week of just green. I'm pretty bullish, but this market has been kind of crappy. Like since October, we've just been in this range. Since, what is this, October? Right here. Like nothing has happened. I want to see some big moves soon, like I don't know, some big moves down or start poking at all-time highs. I just don't see why we would be at all-time highs. Like what's the reason? AI is starting to slow down. There's really no good news anywhere. We're in a war with Iran. Maybe it's time for like a healthy pullback. Yeah, same thing on SPY. SPY has at least tried to push for those higher highs. I was really surprised when SPY hit this high and this high. We didn't just continue rallying and staying above 7,000. It's pretty surprising that we're down here, minus 200 points from 7,000. ES is pretty strong right now, just heading up and up. Let's get a dip down here. Whoa, not text. Let's get a dip down here. Basically back to open is where I want to long from. Could this be the start of a dip? Give me a decent... Oh, oops. Give me a decent dip. Right down here. They're all pretty healthy. I'll just use this one. Wait, why can't I activate this account? 449. Davi, what's up, man? What's up, Underground? Not much action in the overnight. Overnights are usually pretty boring. That's why I usually only do it for an hour. Back testing, nice. But if we get a dip right here, if we get like 10 to 20 minutes of selling, I'll consider buying it. This is the area that I want to buy at right here. Or for my first entry, I want to buy here. I just got to set up what accounts I want to use. I have 2 accounts ready for a payout. They just need 1 more day. That's my Lucid account and my Fund Next account. Let me check which one it is. How much data would you collect in order to say your strat is profitable in the long run? It's hard because I usually go for like a year, but there's some instances where you can't go for a year. Like my platform Thinkorswim, I can only go back 6 months. So my overnight scalps, which is what I'm doing now, which has a very good track record in the last 6 months, like very, very good. I can't go back any further than 6 months. So which is why I have to back test it and live test it. Which means, you know, every overnight I need to basically trade it. But as you back test and as you see your strategy working out, you know, again and again and again, you'll start getting a sense of confidence in your strategy. A lot of people enter a trade and they'll get like 10 or 20 points of drawdown and they start shaking. They start getting nervous. But when you see your strategy play out over and over and over and over again, you start getting less and less shaky and worried. Now, there are some instances where you should be worried, like today during this drop, right? I did buy all the way down here, and I closed out everything in profit, but when VIX is really high and when VVIX is high, you can get some nasty, nasty crashes. I was actually surprised we didn't crash anymore. But when there's days like this, you'll see some very large candles. And tomorrow you're going to see some big candles too. We're going into NFP, a big, I think it's called a red, it's a red folder news event, which means it's pretty big, with a high VIX and high VVIX, which means tomorrow we're going to see some big candles. And I feel like tomorrow I'm going to wish that I sat out. Still might trade it just because, like, oops, that's my alarm. Just because, like, you know, whatever, like I'll still trade it. But I have a feeling I'm gonna wish I didn't trade it. We'll see though. In 3 months, my backtest has a 65% win rate with a 1 to 2 average profit factor. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. I would say try to get it up there to 6 months. I'm not sure what platform you're using, but try to get it up there to 6 months. For 3 months, I'm not super convinced. Just because my strategy that I gave out for my YouTube video and like my old model, right? In my 3 months, I had like, I think a 60% win rate. And someone else also tested it in for like 2 or 3 months with some other rules, like only overnight, only X, Y, and Z. And he got about 60% win rate. But one of the Discord users, he codes strategy, so he codes it completely mechanically, and I don't know how long he did it, maybe for 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, but in the long run it ended up being like 49.5%. And as the days and months went on, I had a feeling it was going to be somewhere near there, which is why I stopped trading it. So I just kind of gave it away. But maybe there's some other rules and confluences that people can use to make it work. Like that one guy, I forgot what he did. He did, like, I think only overnight Asia to London. He only took the trade if the two SMAs have a gap that's wider than, I think, 20 points, 30 points. And I think he did one more other thing. He did something else, but I forgot. That was a while back. I kind of want to, I mean, I'm supposed to buy near the bottom here as my first entry. I don't love it. Just because my ideal entry is down here. And this is like 50 to 40 points above it. Let's let this candle finish. I want to see like a big red candle. Like a 30-point candle down to here. And then I'll consider buying it. You grew the account from 50k to 66,952. Your rules are 1 and 2 trades a day of daily max loss of 1k, going for days of 800 to 1200. That's a pretty good start. Now the hardest part for you is that you need to have multiple accounts, right? Because the way that you have it set up is that, you know, the most common is the 50k, right? 50k account will only give you, right, $2,000 of drawdown, which means even though you have a 65% win rate, you can get into any of those unlucky streaks, and if you lose 2 trades in a row, right, if you lose 2 trades, it's going to be dead account, right? Now, it doesn't mean that your system is bad by any means. What you do need is, imagine if you would need multiple. Right, and this is one of the biggest advantages of prop firms. You need multiple accounts. Right, so that way if this one dies, right? So you made to 66,952, right? So if this one dies, this one dies, this one dies, this one dies, this one survives, and you go to 66,952, which is a balance of 16,952, right? With some max payouts along the way. You said what? It took you How long did it take you to get this? 2 months? 3 months? 3 months to get this with some payouts along the way. So you'd probably be able to extract, well, max you would be able to extract is usually 50% of this, which is about what, 8,400 bucks minus 20% or 10% depending on your firm. Let's just go with minus 20%. Minus 20% is what? 10, 8, 4, 8, 4, 16, 8, right? 16, 8. $8,400 minus 1680. So then so the total amount that'll go to your bank is 6,720. Now this is great because even though these accounts died, right, this amount going into your bank account will pay for all of these accounts and more. That's the power of prop firms. That's why I like using them. The hardest part is to get it rolling. Like, getting good at props is like an avalanche. So, or you can say it's like compound growth, right? So in the beginning, it's slow, right? Because in the beginning, let's say you have a budget of 500 bucks per month. You can't buy many accounts. But as you continue getting better at trading prop firms, taking payouts, this will increase. This is where I started off at. And now I can spend anywhere between 10 to 20K if I wanted to. And I took, let's see, on February, how much money did I take out? On February, I took out 77K. Right, so in the beginning, it's almost impossible to make 500 bucks become 77. If you're able to scale up with your payouts and get to this point, now this is a lot more feasible. So it's like an avalanche where, or you can say it's like compound growth, where initially it might be small or maybe even negative growth. Then as you get better and better, right, at one point it's gonna go like this. Although it will flatten out. This is kind of where I'm at. I'm either here or like here. I'm like flattening out on my growth. Here is the longest part. Even though it looks like the shortest compared to this compound growth, it's more like this. More like this. People are in this stage so long, like you wouldn't believe. I would say usually this area where you are net negative, right, or barely break even, this is usually like be anywhere from like 1 to like 4 years on average. Let's say 2 to 3. 2 to 3 years is where you're usually here. Once you figure stuff out, then you'll start building up. You started building your buffer with daily max loss of 400 until you got to 3,000 in profits. You were going for 600, 800 days to build a buffer, right? And that's still good. But no matter what, it's going to be hard, right? Because props are designed to be hard. Props are not like a normal account. You're there right now? Yeah, a lot of people are here, and some people never get out of here. So I say 2 to 3 years, but some people just, you know, they give up right here, or they give up right here, they give up right here, here, here. Right, this is just kind of, it's a could be, it's like the potential, but you could also potentially go here. Just like go on Reddit and just go on any of the subreddits and you'll see people like, I lost everything, I'm down to my last blah blah blah, right? I read them like every time I'm on Reddit, I'll just see one, and people just don't realize trading is not meant to, you don't, people are like, oh, trading, I'll make money from it, oh, I'll just make money from it. They don't realize you actually lose money. You lose a shit ton of money, and a lot of people can't afford it. Some people, they won't stop, you know, some people that don't budget, they won't stop at 500 bucks a month, right? They'll spend thousands when they can't even take any payouts yet, right? They'll spend like 1K, 2K, 3K. But what they don't realize is that it takes about like one to 2 years. Let's say 1 to 2 years. This is a good, like, if you can become profitable within 1 to 2 years, you're doing something very well. Like, you're doing it right. All right, 1 year. Let's go for 2 years. 2 years is what? 24 months, right? I would say a lot of people spend anywhere between 1 to 2K, which means can you lose $24,000 to $48,000? Let's stick with 500. Can you lose $12,000 to $48,000 in 2 years? In 1 to 2 years, and still be okay? Like, can you pay your bills? Can you pay rent? Can you feed your family? Some people can't, and they'll do this, and you'll see on Reddit some people go into debt for this. It's so stupid. That's not what you want to do. You're like, oh, I just need one payout. I just need one payout. I just need one payout. Not realizing they're just digging a deeper hole, right, to get out of. You've only been trading for 9 months. You feel like I'm ahead of most people at the same range starting. Yeah. Oh, that's good. That's good. You've been trying a lot more than usual lately because your psychology is getting better. You've been studying like 4 hours a day whenever you have free time. Yeah, that's definitely good. And when you do, I'm not sure if you're already out there trading or putting your money in, but paper trading is a lot different than real trading. Because paper trading, you're not risking anything. Paper trading is good for pushing the buttons. Okay, how do I buy? Okay, how do I sell? How do I set a limit order? How do I set a stop order? Right, there's no psychology in it. You can reset as many times as you want. When you're really trading, that's when it hits you, right? Let's say you are risking $1,000 to $2,000 per. Let's say you're risking $1,000 per day, and you're on your first day of a fresh funded account, 50K, so that's $2,000. On your first day, you hit your stop loss, and now you're down to $1,000. And this account, there was many accounts that went into this. Maybe you were lucky and passed on your first or second try, but it still took you a minimum of 2 days. And if you blow this account up, you know you're going to be stuck with no funded account for 2 more days. All these little things are going to be affecting your mental. right? You're gonna be cutting your winners early. You're gonna be letting your losers run. You've blown accounts already, but that just motivates me to study more. Yeah, it's crazy different. Yeah. Yeah, when you're actually losing money, when you're actually losing the progress, it hits you a lot harder. This could have been an okay entry. It's not the best. I wanted one more dip down here. Maybe if this candle reaches 6.5, I'll consider an entry. I don't think I would have ever entered here. It's fine to blow accounts. It's just make sure you never lose more than you can afford to. That's the number one thing people need to learn, and a lot of people don't. I try to take my advice of trying to, if I blow an account, try and blow in 1 week time with my budget and trade every day. I don't know what your budget is, but basically, if I were to give advice to somebody, I would, you know, in the beginning where they're trying to learn, it's set up the amount of accounts you have per month, and then worst case scenario, you set your daily loss limit to where if you lose for 20 days straight, which is there's 20 trading days in a month, if you lose 20 days straight, then on the 20th day you blow up your last account, which means on the 21st day you can rebuy all those accounts according to your budget, right? There's nothing that will teach you more than chart time. 3 to 400. So 3 to 400 is about 3 to 4 accounts. Yeah, so okay, so I must have already talked to you about this. Yeah, about like worst case, blow it up in 1 week's time. Right, so if you spend 300 per month, you would want to blow up one account in 1.5 weeks. If you spend 400, you want to blow up an account in 4 weeks. Or you want to blow up one account per week, so that's like 5 days, max loss limit of $400 per day. And then in the worst case scenario, you lose every single day. That's when you blow up. And it's kind of hard to lose every single day. Like, you would have to be very unlucky to lose every single day. There was a study out there done where if you flip a coin, just randomly short or long, your win rate should be about 50%, close to 50%. So even if you don't have a strategy and you just randomly just trade, you should have a 50% chance to blow up. And whenever you do get your first or your next funded account, I would recommend, if you can get that account and keep it alive for 3 months, you're gonna learn so much. And for funded accounts, there's no time limit. So you can choose to blow it up or keep it alive. If you keep it alive for 3 months, or even 2 months, 2 months, 3 months, 4 months, you're gonna learn so much. You get alpha zeros or lucid flex for around 70 to 90s, like 320 a month, just depending on the promos they run. Yeah, I think lucid flex is one of the cheapest. That's the ones that I usually buy. So you can get about like 3-ish accounts. I think lucid flex is like close to $100. I heard that Lucid may be dropping a promo soon, so we'll see, but I thought they would have already dropped it by now. There's no other promos out there. The only other promo that I know about is, I don't think there is one. I think Lucid has like a 30% one, or a 40% depending on you know, if you already used it. I think they just did a 50% one actually on Discord. I don't know if you already used it. Where was it? Promotions. I don't know if you already used it, but this was the 50% off. Valid through what? For this whole month. So this is like the best deal right now. This is the one of the cheapest accounts. If it's 50% off. And then you have, if you didn't use this, the previous code, this one. So you have, if you didn't use anything, you would have 2 accounts for 50% off, and then 5 accounts for 40% off. When was this? This was about a week and a half ago. I'm hoping they drop another discount soon. I want to buy more of their accounts before the price goes up, because I heard it is going to go up. Where is it? Was it major announcements? Let's see. Oh, here it is. Blah blah blah. With these changes in the live program, they're going to monitor the data. As a result, a flex price increase may be implemented next month based on the data. And this was made, when was this post made? This post was made 1 week ago. So I need to stock up on the flex accounts. I need to buy like a lot of them. All right, maybe this is the dip. This is the dip to get me in. . . 。 . 。 . 。 . . . 。 . 。 . 。 . 。 . 。 . 。 . 。 . . . . . . 。 . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . What's up, Luke? No, not yet. My overnight scalps, I usually wait for a dip on a dip or a rally, basically a pullback from the trend. And right now the trend is basically bullish, so I'm waiting for this pullback. I might be able to enter in the next 13 minutes, 10 minutes, depending on how this dip goes. I'm looking for some big red candles. My best, but like where I really want to enter in is right here. Right around here is where I want to enter. But I don't know if we're gonna dip this low in the next like 10-15 minutes. I mean, we might get nothing, you know? Overnight is very slow. It's very boring. Like New York, there was plenty of action, but I'm at work, so I can't really do much. But New York, I was basically buying every single dip. So I made about 12K today, but it was all on longs. Let's see where I feel where I longed from. It was like a bunch of long scalps here, 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 and a bunch here, which I didn't. I closed everything out around here, so I missed this move up, which is okay. And then I took a short right at close, 25047, and I just held it until the end of the day, which was about 40 points. Yeah, if we don't get another dip in like the next, I would say 10-20 minutes, I'll probably close up shop. And then I'll just hang out on the Discord. I usually just wait. There's a lot of waiting, which is kind of boring. Like this one was an okay entry. Around here. The DC explanation a few nights really helped you out. Yeah, of course. Started trading 3 days ago. Dang. Yeah, there's a bunch of like, as you go throughout your journey, you're gonna figure out a bunch of tips and tricks. Like I have a whole bag of them. Do you trade prop firms or do you trade a real account, Luke? Because all my trading style is only for prop firms. My trading style would not work for a real account. Which is why I was surprised that somebody earlier today, he sent he took like a payout on a live account, which is very, very impressive. This Anthony guy. I just can't do live accounts or like a real brokerage account. Prop firms, was crazy to see my position at -500, but I legit had no emotions, and later it bounced to 150. It's good not to trade with emotions. You'll see me like back in my New York streams. There was one time where it was on a really rare day too. I forget what day it was, but it was a day where it just kept going lower and lower and lower. During the New York session. Was it this day? It might have been this day. Might have been this day. When was this? February 26th? Maybe it was a day before this, but just kept getting lower and lower and lower. It was one of these days. And I literally blew up accounts. And when I blow up accounts, I don't really care about them. When you trade and you're worried about something, it's like the worst way to trade. You get scared. Because there's some cases where it's good and bad, but like in your case, right? If you were scared, you could have cut out at minus 500. And you wouldn't have bounced back up. I think one of my trades, I literally cut out because I was scared at New York Open. I cut it out right here. I think I cut it out right here at this bottom. It was a long position that I DCA'd into. It had a lot of buffer left, but I DCA'd into, I think, 11 or 12 micros, and I closed out right at this bottom tick. I was pretty pissed. It was either this bottom tick or this bottom tick. Or maybe it was this one. I was pretty pissed because right after it would have gotten like a lot of profit. But I eventually, wait, that wasn't even today, was it? Where am I? Where the hell am I? 9:30. It's right here. I closed out right here. I remember because I was like, oh man, if New York dumps with 12 micros, it could dump 100 points, and that's a lot. That's too much. But I had a feeling we were going to rock it up, and that's kind of what we got. Dips you mentioned, I'm not good enough to recognize those. I prefer less volatility in just scalping. Yeah, the dips are hard. When I buy these dips, I only let the data play out for me. So like today, if you saw my messages, I said that I was going to buy every single dip. So I didn't buy up here. I bought all of this. And here's how much I don't care about my accounts. I said that I'm gonna buy them, right? Because right when we were here, it was a 12% day, which is rare, but it's not super rare. I said that I would hold these accounts until they blow up, because the way that I trade these quote unquote dips is that I will blow up my accounts on the rarest of rarest days, right? So I said that if these, imagine like my account blows up right about, where was it? Around here, 650-ish. 650-ish. Right about here is where my accounts blow up. And right around here, this type of day only happens 2% of the time. Right, so I set up my trades where, yes, if it's a very rare day, I'll blow up my accounts. That's fine. But on average, if it's a less volatile day, 12%, it's just the kind of day it is. So this day happens 12% of the time. This day. So I have a rarity that I've done from back testing about 4 years of NQ data. It is private, but you'll see me post it on the Discord. My data analysis model is basically categorizing days based off of the percentages. And then I also, from the same data, I get an average expected close. So if you saw me trading, you'll see that I closed all my positions around 2493 right here. This is where I closed everything, because according to my data, this is the average expected close at 5 p.m. Right, so my trades are basically buy this dip and then head towards the average expected close. Anything after the average expected close, right? If you want anything above the average, you're being quote unquote greedy. Right, because this is more rare up here. and this is more common down here. So my average expected close was right here at 32. I think I said it on the Discord, which means that you actually saw me plan for an MOC trade. MOC is market order close. It's where all the big companies put in all their orders. There's two big windows of volume that you'll see every single day. It's at 9:30. This is called MOO, which is market open orders. Like all the big hedge funds, all the big whales, they put in all their orders at this time, or maybe most of their orders. Same thing happens at 3:50. Every single day you will see a huge volume spike on these two times. Every single day. So another one of my trades was I took a short right here. And another reason why I took this short was because if I expect it to be down here by 5 p.m., then any short up here is decent. And I said I wanted to short 50 to 80, and I only got 50. So I closed out for about 40 points right here. I said I would hold it for the end of the day, and I did. So you always profit well unless a 2% day happens, you blow your accounts. Yes. Now what sucks is that, yeah, that's basically what happens. If you go back and see any of my big major blow up days, you'll see they are the most rare of rare days. About usually under 4 or 5%, right? So the way that I think about my trading is, let's say a stranger comes up to you, right? A stranger comes up to you and they give you a coin with heads and tails. Right? And they say, if you flip this coin and you land on heads 95 times, right? If you land on heads 95 times out of 100, well, then you blow your accounts. Sorry, your accounts are dead now. But if you don't land heads 95 times, then you'll make some money. So don't land heads 95 times out of 100. Then you make some money. Some money to a lot of money. Right? Now, in my case, you know, are you going to flip this coin? For me, I will always flip this coin. Because what are the odds that you land on heads 95 times? Right? This is how I trade. This is also how I cope. I'm like, seriously, a 5% day or a 2% day, I lose all my accounts. And I think about this exact scenario. I'm like, are you serious? I flipped a coin and I landed heads 98, 95, 96, 97 times. And then I get even more salty. Now you can see how that does not work for a live account. Right? And I would never trade a live account. I'm here to make a living off of prop firms. I don't really need to know how to trade. Yes, I have some models, and yes, I do some trading, right? It's a good strat for prop firms, yeah. I'm not a great trader. I'm not a genius trader or anything like that. I'm just a guy who knows how to beat prop firms. And you'll see it in my daily P&L, you'll see it in my payouts. Right? I have some big losses, I have a decent amount of wins. Right? Maybe in the long run I'm a bit positive or break even, maybe just like a little positive. But you can see how much money I've taken out. Like the results speak for themselves. So it looks like we're not gonna get that dip. I like how strong NQ is. NQ is stronger than ES. You can see it just on the charts, right? You see this dip down here. Then you see this dip on NQ, like here. You see how this dip is a lot steeper. So usually in this case, if I do want to long, I would like to be in NQ. So if we do get a dip, hopefully I get it in NQ. You don't want to talk about your performance or P&L for to tell me anything. So the moment I talk about it, I blow my account. Yeah, no one else has to talk about or show their P&L. I show my P&L and all my payouts and everything being transparent for you guys is because I want to make this into a business. And who's going to trust me or buy anything from me if I don't show you guys? Right? Which is why I made my own separate payout page, my own separate P&L page. I'm a lot different than all these prop firm gurus out there. I've been showing stuff basically since the beginning of this year. I showed my entire journey to my 100K, my 100K challenge. My entire journey, I showed it, and I didn't hide. And well, I guess, did I hide stuff? I guess I did hide stuff in the beginning, but later on I realized, like, what's the point? It was because in the beginning, some of these accounts or some of these firms has my full name in it. And this was the easiest way to get it onto an Excel sheet. That's literally why I did this. It was because imagine all of this in a Word document. This would be a giant pain in the ass. It wouldn't fit. How would I show it to you guys in a nice way? But I show every single day, every single loss, every single win, because I generally don't care. Yeah. And then later on, I think I started showing, did I start showing? Yeah, later on I started showing stuff like this, but look at this. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 firms. At one point I had like 8 firms. So imagine even more. And at one point, this is like, I think 10 accounts. At one point, this could potentially be 20 accounts. There's like no room for this, so I can't show it to you guys. But I also show my worst days. Minus 30K right here. Right? I don't care about showing that. Right? Minus 73K. I also don't care about showing it because my brand is not me being a good trader. My brand is me being an average trader. I'm not a genius or anything. Right? I'm just a regular guy that knows how to beat prop firms. All right, it looks like there's nothing. I'm gonna probably close up shop. There's really no action. There's no dip for me to buy. The one potential buying spot was right here. Right here. 067 to 066. But I wanted it to be like, yes, I could have bought this second dip around, but I mean, we're just so far from where I want to buy in. My buy-in that I would love is down here. So if this is my ideal entry and I enter in here, I'm sort of in a bad spot by like, this is 50 points, right? 5 micros at 50 points is what, 400, what, 500 bucks? This is minus 500 bucks. And usually I take these with 5 accounts, which means just being in a bad entry, it's like hypothetically being down 2,500 already. So I just couldn't bring myself to take this. Now, if this was a bigger candle, then I would have entertained entering right around here. But it just wasn't enough. So I'll leave off with what my thoughts of the next day and what the overnight is. I'm pretty bullish. I will always be bullish. I buy a lot. Any dip I'm willing to buy. And I think tomorrow during the New York session, it could get really ugly. When VIX is high and when VVIX is high, you'll see some nasty candles. I'm talking about nasty candles, right? Going up and down like 100 points. Just up and down, up and down, up and down like this. So I have a feeling tomorrow is going to be one of those days where a lot of people will just, if you just took the day off tomorrow, you'll be really happy. Right here, right on this non-farm payroll. We'll see. This non-farm payroll with a high VIX, you're going to see a huge candle. Unless VIX dies down overnight. It's dying down a decent amount. It's still really high. But if we get a crash like this, and we're down here before right here 8:30 during New York or London session, I think this is London. This is not New York. Starts right here, New York starts right here, so it's right before New York open. So if we crash down here, this candle is going to be huge. This news candle is going to be like 100 plus points. Now, if we keep going up and up and up, and we're somewhere in this area, and then this candle probably won't be as big. Maybe 50 to 80 points. It'll be smaller. We'll see how the overnight plays. All right, that's everything for me, guys. I'm gonna head on out, make some food, and see you guys next time. Peace.